All right. So this is the group energy clearing, and we're doing it a week early. I believe this is the week early because of the holiday schedule next week, and we're bumping up against holiday stuff. So thanks for your flexibility and meeting a week early. And that's okay, Miroslav. You're totally fine. No need to have to speak. Just saying hi. So, okay. There is a lot of different energies coming up. We are experiencing a lot in the sense of we have this beautiful Mercury in retrograde, which is a very interesting Mercury in retrograde versus the feeling of a lot of other times of Mercury being in retrograde. There's an interesting kind of flavor with it. There's also the solstice coming up this week, holiday season coming up for many folks this week. So the solstice in the Western Hemisphere is this week. And so there's a lot of different energies that are presenting in many different ways. And one of the things I feel is presenting for a lot of people in our awareness, especially as folks like us who are really showing up to do our work and really are holding a space of wanting to be in our truth and really embracing and embodying our authenticity and our sovereignty, which means we're having to clear out old wounding, old thought patterns, beliefs from ourselves, from our ancestors, and from past lives and other experiences. What I'm seeing is folks like us are having a heightened sensitivity to people in victimhood. People who are not wanting to take responsibility, people who are externally blaming. Ooh, there's a lot of emotion coming up for that. And I don't know about you, but if you're experiencing this in your daily lives or you're seeing it in the collective with coworkers or with people driving or people just around at the grocery store or wherever, what's fascinating is the levels of work we are doing, showing up even for today. We know if you're here today, you're doing the work. It's in some ways, it's heartbreaking because our sensitivities are so heightened that we can watch other people that it's just a quick mindset shift. If they were to just wake up to this illusion that they're staying in, right? Or that they're sourcing from a past experience and they're staying in that. If they just were to look at it and wake up and wanted to face it, that would shift so quickly for them, right? So our heightened sensitivities are, we're seeing them wanting to stay. I call it like sitting in their shitty diaper. They just want to stay there, right? They don't want to take responsibility and saying, oh, I'm having this reaction because it's mine. It has nothing to do with anyone else but my reaction, right? That so there's a sadness in the sense of this victimhood people are in that we're starting to be able to see, oh, okay. But there's also a level of us still in our victimhood. Where are we not taking responsibility? Where are we not showing up? Right? So we're in this pot right now. And that's why this Mercury in retrograde is fascinating, because the flavor is, of course, around communication and things like that, technology, communication. But it's making us show up in a way of being very clear on how we communicate to others to support them in how they are showing up. And I'll give an example. Yesterday morning, I asked my husband to do something. And I asked him, like, hey, before we go out, can you run the dog? We have a 1-year-old and he runs. And I'm like, can you run the dog? And I was very clear, because that way, since we're going to leave her for a long time, she's not all wild, right? And I made it very clear. He was not hearing it. And that there was like some heavy retrograde energy, but I know I was holding an integrity, a very clear message, because I knew that it was going to get distorted. So I was holding that energy of being very clear. he was like, I will do he then didn't build in time before we had to leave to do it. And he went right into victim. Like, I'm doing it later because X, Y, and Z, because you told me to do it this way. You told me to walk them. But wasn't he wasn't holding a space of the clear communication that I was bringing forward before, because that way she's not wild when we get back. So we had a conversation on our way back around it. And he said, I thought you were saying this, but what he was going into was blame. Because he was, before we left, going into, well, it's all about your needs, right? And he was going into all of his victimhood. It's all about you. Why do I always have to do, And it was like, whoa, wait a minute. And so instead of me going right back at him and being triggered, like, this isn't our needs. This isn't my needs. This is our family needs. We have a dog together, all that kind of stuff. What I did was I was like, oh, okay. This is these are my needs. Okay, the dog is my needs. And I just kind of put it in that way, not a smart ass. But what I was sourcing from was holding a space of, I see you in victim right now. I see you blaming everyone else but the choices you made, right? And I was just holding that energy, and I'm not engaging in it. And it shifted him like that. And then we were able to have a really good connected conversation around why he didn't, because he's in training and he's like, I want you to support me on my training. He's running a marathon soon, and I was like, oh, I didn't even think about that. You run every day. I didn't think the training was any different. Right. So we got to come into a clearer conversation. But what I noticed the shift was when I held a different space of inside of me. I see you in your victimhood. I see you wanting to blame me. And I'm not going there. And something unraveled. And that was a new approach for me. Because again, if a man's coming after me trying to get the last word, it's not going to happen. Right. So like I could easily go back into my wounding and be like, we're not playing this game. I'm going right into your energy and I'm going right in. So as we're moving through the holidays, and if you are going to be spending time with family, or you are with coworkers and other people around you, notice and pay attention to this concept of victimhood, not taking responsibility, external blaming, because it feels a little more amplified with this retrograde and holiday season. Ooh.
Wow, it's interesting. Lately, lately we're so connected, Stacy.
I know. Our stories are very similar recently.
Yeah,
Yes.
because I felt like the same. I was telling Jairo like a couple of days ago, Nico came over, my son, and he's like a really big time victimhood. But he told a story that, he told many other times that something that happened at the Olympics and blah, blah, blah. But this time I noticed myself after, I was just listening to it, like with curiosity, with interest, without I noticed later after, and I was like, wow, this has been really different, because number one, I was in a state of non-judgment completely. I was not, nothing. I was just there holding a clear space. And I think he felt that because his story was much more sincere than ever before. It could come out like, I felt this time that he was sincere, at least in that part.
Yeah.
And so that dynamic that you're talking about, that's exactly what happened. And I noticed. So yeah.
Yes, that's awesome. It really feels like, again, I feel like the flavor of this retrograde is very different than other Mercuries in retrograde. And I've been processing that. And it's like, is it because we're showing up in a different way? And I think part of it is our sensitivities are shifting, that we can hold that space. But I also feel it's the flavor of the energy as well. So thank you for sharing that, because that's a space we're wanting to hold now as we move in, especially to the holiday seasons. Destin, you had something to share.
Oh, wow. Yeah. you're right. I mean, everything keeps leading back to me taking responsibility, and it's almost like a more of a mental thing, but me taking responsibility for, like, I haven't done anything wrong. Personally, I haven't done anything wrong,
Mhm.
but obviously, I am gonna be the one to fix this, so I have to keep going, and to keep going and do it every single day, even though it's been really, really hard.
Mhm. That I'm wrong piece, I've noticed the last few weeks in the group clearing work I've been doing with folks or one-on-one sessions as well, that like energy of you're a bad girl, or you've done something bad. And you can't do anything right type of energy. I'm seeing it starting to get pulled out of people. And it's coming up to the surface for so many that I'm wondering if that is an energy that you're in as well. Like you said, I didn't do anything wrong, but I'm having to take responsibility.
Well, I know what it is. You know what I mean? I know that what I'm experiencing is not actually mine. And I'm just kind of, why do I have to keep going through the same thing, doing
Mhm.
the same thing? And what I'm noticing is it's like other aspects. If there's one here and we clean that out, then it feels like there's something else that tries to pop in and keep it going, and I'm ready to clean all the core shit out so I don't have to keep going on the same thing.
Yes. So where's your responsibility in that? If you're in a loop, if you keep on this pattern keeps on manifesting in your life coming forward, you keep on creating the pattern, and every time you try to break it, something else comes in to keep the pattern alive, right? And keeps it going.
Mm-hmm.
Where I've noticed the biggest shift, yes, working with some to clear some of that energy can really help. Getting those data sets or insights can help of why the pattern's there. But honestly, you can disrupt the pattern. You can shift that energy when you start holding a space of, I created this pattern. Why is this pattern still here? Why am I still sourcing this? And every time you notice the patterns start to slowly break, and if you notice there's something else trying to come in to keep the loop going, you then stop it at that level. And you're mentally, mindset wise, you're in your heart space, you're like, I notice this is another disruption that's trying to keep the pattern alive. I'm uncomfortable as hell right now. And I'm not seeing through this illusion, or I am seeing through this illusion. I know this is not in authenticity for me. This is not aligned. This new thing coming in is another way of trying to lock it down. And you'll notice the more you notice when those disruptions start to come forward, you'll notice as you catch them, this is a test. This is a true test on a soul level. Do I really want this? Because if not, that disruption that comes in will help keep the loop going and keep you safe. But if you notice the disruption, you say, I'm all in. On a soul level, I am ready. I am ready and I'm committed. I'm in my heart. I'm ready. Bring it on. As uncomfortable as this is, all right, that that disruption got cleared up. You may get another test. Oh, here it comes again, but it's a lighter test this time. It's an easier test to catch. Okay, do I really want this? Yes, this is an integrity of what I want and what I'm bringing forward. And then it just starts to break. And you'll watch people do this. My husband's a people pleaser. I can be a people pleaser, but I'm helping him disrupt that pattern right now. And I see the cycle he's in all the time for 20 plus years. And I've been calling him out on it lately, saying, this is the time you've got to clear this up. This is going to keep on happening if you stay in this loop. So this morning he was in a situation with someone who's renting a car, who's like trying to get him to bend over and like make these times happen that disrupt his schedule and his time. And he said, you know, you would be so proud of me. He was like, I did not acquiesce today. He said, I said, this is my time is valuable. This is what I offered. You told me you would do this time. Now you're not in integrity with the time you gave me. I can't do this for you. You have to come in and do this. And as soon as he said that, he held that energy of like, I'm worthy of this. And he said, I got to break my pattern. But he had to feel within himself, I'm worthy of this. The woman shifted very quickly and said, okay, I'll be there in 10 minutes. Where she was trying to get him to, you know what I mean? Like for him to do all the work, because he always does that for everyone. So it was like amazing that shift happened so quickly, but he had to go really in the truth of his heart to say, this is what I need. This is my value. So this is, yes, Miroslav. Make sure I'm saying your name right. I apologize if I'm not. So Miroslav said he's struggling with that has been struggling with that people pleaser thing his whole life. I agree with you. That has been something I've been working on, that acquiescing, you know, giving myself away and not really standing with my needs and wants first. So this is a big pattern coming up for people. So Destin, start to pay attention to that loop, because these loops are really coming forward as beautiful teachers right now. And you know, with that retrograde energy, it's kind of in that reversal of pulling things up for us to look at. So that's why I'm normally like, oh God, another Mercury retrograde. But I'm really like, welcome, thank you. You know, I'm really being in excited energy, because I'm like, bring it on. All right, I just had this big miscommunication. Great. What is in it for me? Why did I source this miscommunication? Where do I get to go with this? All right, great. I got through that. Next. So anyone else want to share before we go really into our clearing part? This is big stuff coming up for people. Big stuff. Oh, good. I'm glad I pronounced the name right. And you're not people pleasing me saying that either. Anyone else? Got to put your hand down. I'm not sure how to put your hand down. Oh, lower hand. There we go. Ooh. So again, if you are called, I think Margaret, you came in a little bit later. I think Callie, I don't know if you heard this or not. The way the energies are presenting today, I was called by Spirit to tell you, you may want a pillow or something nearby to scream in if you are called to yell.
Will you hand me that?
That's okay. I'll mute you. Okay. So you may want to bring something forward. You may not be called to do that, but I was just called to have that come forward just in case. This is great. We can go right in. We can dive right in, and we'll have lots of time to start really moving into more the activation time, the clearing time. To get comfortable, get yourself in a comfortable seated position. As we go into this clearing, you may want to go off screen, because you're going to be like probably eyes closed. You may not want the recording to show you as you're in a deep altered state. So if you want to go off screen for this part of the clearing, you're welcome to do so. Just allowing yourself to get in a comfortable position. If that means you're seated, if that means you're lying down, you're welcome to do so, whatever works for you. And as we are starting to ground into our bodies, getting yourselves comfortable, you're setting the intention to bring forward this being around others in their victimhood. Whether it's really bringing forward, where are you still not taking responsibility, or where others around you are not, and how you get triggered by them. You can bring it in either way, not taking responsibility, externally blaming. And that energy is really already strongly here in our space today. But as you start to get grounded, start to bring your awareness behind your eyes. And notice what that feels like, looks like for you to have your awareness behind your eyes. Mhm. Notice if you are distracted and not able to keep your awareness behind your eyes. Notice if you are automatically called to go from behind your eyes down to a different spot in the body, perhaps your heart or somewhere else. Just bringing awareness to being behind your eyes. And as you do that, notice what's happening outside of you. When your awareness is behind your eyes, you can gain a whole different perspective of the external world. It's like, does it even matter? Is it even that significant? What's happening on the news? What other people are doing? Yeah, that day-to-day interactions that you may be experiencing. When you're behind your eyes, you're home. You're in your light body. From here, see if you are called to go bring your awareness from behind your eyes down into your heart. And notice where in the heart you're being called to go. Some folks are being called to focus on their high heart. That high heart space is a little above the heart. And that high heart space is like your gateway to multidimensionality, your gateway to those higher levels of awareness. Or if you're called to more of your physical heart in this biosuit, that love and compassionate frequency. So notice what heart you are called to go into. There's no right, wrong, good, or bad here. It's just where you're being guided to go. Beautiful. Yes. And while you're here in the heart, this is a wonderful time to make sure that you've called in your spirit team, your entourage, making sure they're here with you. And this space that we have created together becomes very comfy with all of these beautiful beings with us. Yes, there's lots and lots of room, plenty of room for all of us to be here. And with all of our entourage members, our spirit team here with us, it amplifies the energies. Group healing right now is powerful because of the amplification of the energies. So welcome, welcome, welcome into our space. And you may notice particular members of your entourage, your spirit team that come forward. Yeah, welcome, welcome, welcome here. And if you notice particular members of your team that come forward, that typically means they are here for a specific reason. They're here to help clean up a certain frequency, a certain pattern, belief system. They can hold that resonance in a way to help clear out certain energies. So welcome, welcome, welcome. Also, I would encourage you to call forward your ancestors. Yes, yes, yes. And as you call them forward, welcome, welcome, welcome them in, calling upon your father and your father's people all the way back before time was time. Welcome, welcome. Thank you for being here. Calling upon your mother and your mother's people all the way back before time was time. Thank you for being here. Yes, yes, yes. Thank you. And as they all come in, all these loved ones, all these beautiful beings, all these ancestors that are connected to you, that are here for the sole intention to help clear out these energies for you and for your lineages. Oh, feel that amplification of the energies coming forward for us to go as deep as we can today. Thank you. And there's one guide, spirit guide, coming forward in your team, whether it's an ancestor or whether it's a member of your spirit team. There's one in particular for each of you that's coming forward right now. And just notice the feeling, the sensation, the visual, the knowing that you have around this one member of your team that's coming forward. Does it feel like a loving energy? Does it feel maternal or paternal? Does it feel masculine or feminine? Does it feel a sense of bright light, of uplifting, of healing energy? Just notice the team member that's coming forward. Yes, thank you. And as they come forward, they may be grabbing your hand. They may be putting an arm around you. They may be interlacing arms. Or they may be just asking you to come with them as they take a journey with you. And we're going into more of a shamanic journeying with this right now. We are being called to go to this magical place. So as you get linked up and connected with this member of your spirit team of your lineage, this is the time to set the intention to gain clarity or to clear out old loops, patterns that are belief systems that are connected to victimhood, not taking responsibility, or externally blaming. Ooh. actually that external piece too can also be blaming or also envying. Let's say one of your loops has to do with being like envious or jealous of others because they have more money than you, or they're more beautiful than you, or they're skinnier than you, or whatever. That energy, if that's a big loop for you around not taking responsibility, that's another piece that's coming forward for some folks. Yeah. Oh, comparison. Oh, there we go. So setting the intention for clarity or for a deeper level of clearing out these patterns that are holding you back or holding others in your life back. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. Good. Wow. And your spirit team member, I'm going to call it your spirit guide for this journey that has come forward, is starting to guide you down this beautiful, bright light, golden yellow, bright light path. It may kind of feel like the yellow brick road, but this is light energy. You may notice some light codes coming forward as you start to journey down this path. This path is also filled with beams of light. These beams of light are coming directly from our sun. And as you start to wander down this beautiful golden path, noticing the beams of light coming down as you walk, you may see things along the way. You may be called to stop and look and reflect and be, and that's a part of the journey. So notice as you start to journey, notice what's starting to present for you. And if you're noticing some anger, frustration arise, if you're noticing or feeling or sensing old wounding, old experiences of pain or heartbreak, allow yourself to have those feelings. What's coming forward for many of you right now are the experiences, the feelings that you're still living in, you're still sourcing from, that are keeping the patterns alive. Yes, thank you, thank you, thank you. For many of you, these beams of light are starting to pull out, clear out some of these stuck energies. A lot of energy coming out of the lower half of the body. And you may be called to continue down the path on your journey. I'm noticing that there are other guides or beings that are coming forward as you wander the path that are bringing gifts forward. Crystals and little containers of different options, presents, gifts, energies. What they're saying is that these are soul gifts that have been safely protected, that are ready to be re-embraced, reconnected within you. And so what's preventing these from coming forward is the ability to receive. And living in fear. Good. So right now, the energies that are trying to clear out of you are the ways that you still hold fear in your lives, and your loved ones or others hold fear in your lives. Oh, this is about restriction, how we limit ourselves. Ooh, the ways that we have held back from being in that frequency of possibility. For many of us, it's been around a feeling of not deserving to be in possibility. And for others, it's safe to stay in fear and in limitation. It's the devil you know. Ooh. So I'm cleaning out some pretty heavy demonic frequencies right now within all of us. And some of this is not even ours. Some of this is from our father's lineage. Whether you grew up or know your father or not, doesn't matter. This is the same. It's an energy. It's passed down in the DNA. It's passed down in the lineage. There we go. Thank you for bringing awareness to this. Thank you. Good. That shifted very quickly because in all of your hearts, you have a yes. You have a yes to clear this out of your lives, that you're taking responsibility and no longer allowing this fear to control your lives. No longer are you wanting to live in limitation. This yes in your heart is so powerful that it cleared out limitation and fear. Yes. So the path is being revealed on where the destination is going now. And your spirit guide that is taking you on this path is showing you the destination that you're almost to. Oh, thank you. And it's taking you to the center, to the core of our sun, of the sun that we feel and see every day when we walk outside, that we can see and feel when the morning arises, that we can see and feel as the sun sets for the day and into the darkness. This sun is a family member. It's a part of who we are. If you feel any resistance to connect with the sun, allow that resistance to come up. Notice and observe and witness the resistance and hold the space to ask it to clear. And you may want more clarity on why, or you may not need the clarity and for the energy to dissolve. It's like you're passing a threshold right now, and this threshold allows you to step into this beautiful, beautiful sun energy. Right now, the frequency of the sun feels fatherly, feels masculine. You may resonate it more feminine. You may resonate it without an energy, and that's okay. So as you pass the threshold to enter into the loving, bright energy of the sun, you're bringing forward your intentions for being at this group clearing today. Bringing forward what you want clarity on, what you want cleared out of you or others. There's a lot of insectoid frequencies coming forward. Just watching a lot of bugs come forward. So I'm allowing those to be here. Part of it, I'm getting an awareness around what's lingering in our bodies, like some parasitic energy that's coming up and out, and the sun, the light of the sun is dissolving these energies. For some of you, it's around insectoid wounding. Yeah, there we go. And there's some control mechanisms that are starting to present. Yeah, these are control mechanisms that have locked you down. stopped you from being in your truth to express your authenticity. There we go. For those of you who your spirit guide is connected to your ancestors, there is a level of ancestral clearing that's happening between you and this spirit guide. There we go. Around a belief system passed down from your mother's side that locked you in limitation. There we go. Ooh. For many of you, it's around locking in an illusion that's keeping you in a cycle of not being able to have like a truthful understanding, but more keeping you in an elusive state that isn't aligned with your truth. There we go. There we go. Good, good, good. That's clearing up a lot of energies, bringing that forward. Because illusion, staying in like this illusionary imagination is safe. Is what you thought was safe. There we go. It keeps you in non-commitment as well. Non-commitment to yourself, not taking responsibility. Good. Now all of you have a yes to clear this out, and the sun is just dissolving these energies as they present. Good. Big yes for that. Big yes. For many of you, there's these light codes coming forward, and what these light codes are doing, it's coming through the crown. For some, it's coming through like third eye or mouth. And what it's doing is it's activating suppressed patterns within you, or not patterns, like suppressed gifts of yours that are now getting reactivated. Oh, it's clearing out certain DNA sequences that are not within your truth anymore. Wow. Wow. For many of you, it's even around certain beliefs that like, I've always had this physical condition, and so this is the way it's going to be. Even that is getting dissolved. Like just because you have a food allergy doesn't mean you're always going to have a food allergy. Just because you have this medical condition doesn't mean it's always going to be there. This is limitation. So it's clearing out all of that right now. And this is true of relationships too. Just because it looks a certain way right now doesn't mean it's always going to look that way. Yes, because we're opening to possibility, and these gifts are being activated through these light codes within the sun. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Oh gosh, for some of you, it's even just because you thought you've had this particular relationship with your parents or with a family member that have always been this certain way. Oh, it's like there's a forgiveness ready to happen. There's a new level of connection ready to happen. There's this opening that's happening for all of you right now. Ooh. Thank you, thank you, thank you, Father, Son, for this. And any limiting belief that's coming up, any thought form that's keeps you in limitation is just getting dissolved very quickly. I'm experiencing a lot of self-doubt coming up, or like that's not possible. And it's all coming up and out very quickly. There we go. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Asking our spirit guides that have guided us to the sun if there's anything else that wants to present before we start our journey back to ourselves. Yeah, there we go. And we are within ourselves, but back to this space, let's call it. You're starting to make your descent. Oh, coming down through that golden path. And as you walk back through and journey down through that golden path, you may notice a feeling of openness, expansion. I'm also seeing this as these bright golden light spots throughout the body that are amplifying throughout. It's like you were able to take certain light from the sun that's now within your field, that's showing up in different parts of the body as you start walking or journeying down the path back to this container. Ooh, for many of you, there's this bright golden ball of light in the sacrum, in the womb space, or in the sacrum space, same thing. Wow, I'm seeing it in the throat as well for many of you. Yes, in the heart. Oh, this is cool. I'm watching it on all of your feet too. It's like amplifying and like expanding within the feet. Woo. Thank you, thank you, thank you. Coming back into this container, back into our space together. Giving love to a member of your spirit team or ancestry that guided you to the sun and down the paths begin with. Thank you, thank you, thank you. I love you, I love you, I love you. Thank you for the clarity. Thank you for the clearing. Thanking your ancestors for being here. Thanking your spirit team for being here. Thank you to Father, Son, for supporting us today. Always a thank you to Pachamama. Thank you, thank you, thank you. We love you. Ooh. Yes, thank you. Starting to echo your name out into the universe, 360 degrees. Echo, echo, echo. And what you are doing is you are bringing out your frequency out into the universe to attract soul pieces of you or energies of you that are lingering out there that are ready to come back home. So this is a frequency you put out. It's kind of like a light tower or like a lighthouse. You're amplifying your frequency out to then collect these energies, your energies, or aspects of yourself to come back in. Yes. 360 degrees, same thing around the earth plane. Echo, echo, echoing your name. Good. And then 360 degrees into the earth. Yeah. And for some of you, it's even into the underworlds. You're not going in. You're just holding space within your body, behind your eyes or in your heart. And you're just echoing your name. And that pulls out your energies, those aspects of yourself. There we go. Good. Yep. Good, good, good. Oh, you're claiming your body. This is my body. I get to decide what energies come into my body. This is my sovereign body. This is my energy field. This is a space around my body. I get to choose the energies that come in and out. Claiming, claiming, claiming your space. Yes, good. Ah, and you may be in an altered space and need some time to come back into our space. But if you're called to come off screen or off camera or back onto camera, and if anyone wants to share anything, any experiences or any questions or anything that's presented, this is a good time to do so. If you need to stay altered and stay off camera, that's totally fine as well. We went to some pretty big places here. That sun energy was really, really powerful. And I'm hearing that from a lot of people. Our Ray Ellen, our astrologist for Light Body, she's been talking a lot about the sun, even more so lately this week. Christina, I think, talked a little bit about it in the lunchtime chats from Thursday as well. There was some big stuff coming up. Anyone want to share anything? Yeah, Destin.
Ooh, there was a lot there. I think you hit everything, the nail on the head. Um, but why am I feeling, I'm feeling the fear and the anger and the wounding
Mhm.
within myself. I just need to get that out. I just need to scream that out. I need to.
Yeah, I think what you're called whatever you're called to do. So there are times when, like, let's say anger arises, and there's times I need to know why. And other times I just need to acknowledge, okay, anger's here. There's times like I'll be in the shower grunting and stomping. I got out of the shower one day and anger like came up really, really strong. And I was literally like dripping water naked. Sorry, that's my Southern accent that comes out. When I was a kid, I lived in Texas. So even though I'm a Jersey girl, I have certain words that come out that are not. So people are like, what is she saying when she says naked? Anyways, so, and I was like dripping, like wet, naked, and I was stomping and grunting. And the dogs were like, what the hell is going on outside the door? And I had a kid come in and was like, what is going on? So for me, I needed that physical to pull out the anger. But there are other times where I need to go in order to get it out is like, and not everyone needs to do this. Now, know that I have a really deep level of needing to feel, there's an intensity about me, okay, that in where I go. I have very heavy like Pluto energy where I can just go dark, 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 deep, deep, deep in. Not a lot of people have to do that. But I had to go in and I had to relive a traumatic experience and re-feel it all to be able to pull it out of me. Okay. Not everyone is called to do that, especially with the energies these days. So you may just have to think about an experience for a minute, like, or an experience may come through. Let's say you're feeling anger and an experience just comes through and you get a flash of something from your childhood. Or like a flash of a past life that you have no idea like where this is coming from, but you feel the anger or you feel a feeling around it. Just acknowledge it. And I always ask a question within me to say, what do I need to do right now? Okay, I'm being called to stomp. Or I may be called to like sit and relive it. I may be called to just say, all right, I'm bringing it up in dream time tonight, setting the intention to clear this out of me. Or sometimes I'm called to go into my Huaracocha, which is our own central sun above us. We each have one. And pull some of the Huaracocha down. And sometimes I like go in with my hands and grab some of the light. And I bring it down to where that anger is manifesting or whatever the feeling is manifesting in my body. And either I pull my whole Huaracocha down or I bring parts of it and I'll hold it in that spot and ask for my Huaracocha to pull that energy out. So there's lots of different tools. Sometimes I have to go into nature. I just have to go outside and ask the sun to take it. And I imagine light beams coming down and taking it. Other times I have to ask Pachamama to pull the energy out of me. Because Pachamama, the sun, they can dissolve energy very quickly. They're not taking our energies on. They can dissolve it. They're here to support. Other times I have to go outside and I have to just connect with nature spirits. And then they just start flooding around and pulling stuff out. So it really depends. But that's how the level of awareness I have of asking the question of how can I get rid of this right now? But I'm constantly asking myself, I'm constantly checking in and saying, what am I called to do right now? And a lot of times it's just that inner dialogue, but it's not coming from my head. It's not coming from the mental body. It's coming from my heart. I even may at times ask my spirit team or my entourage to be like, show me what I need to do right now. And a member of my team will come forward and either pull it out for me or point me to something to then, oh, okay, I got to go talk to this person. I got to do a forgiveness practice. That even happened. This is part of why during this clearing we just did, a member of our team came forward because they were trying to show us how much they want to help. I mean, I had a grandmother come forward. My physical, like mother's mother came forward and she was the one who guided me through. And she had to tell me all these things of how I was holding on to family wounding. And she was showing me what was mine and what was hers. The only reason why I could do that is because I asked her, why are you here? What are you here to show me? And that's faith. That's possibility. That's being in that and not saying, oh my God, this is ridiculous. What am I doing? You know, or second guessing. And I had second guessing coming up while we were in the clearing. And it wasn't second guessing about how I was holding space for everyone. It was second guessing around, am I seeing this? Is this really what I'm seeing? And of course I got even more data sets around it. Why? And I got the big data set saying, why are you letting the external 3D world still dominate you? This matrix, why are you still letting it? So I was like, oh, there was another aspect of how I'm still externally trying to get validation or looking, you know, or not taking responsibility for what I'm feeling within myself. These are the levels we are being called to go. And it's subtle at times. And sometimes it's big. And I'm putting someone on the spot, and you don't have to get off camera, but Amy is here. If I remember correctly, I got to connect with Amy a couple months ago and just meet her. Amy sourced a magical trip to Asia out of like incredible possibility. Like, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I've been called to go. I think it was Thailand or somewhere. Like, I'm being called to just go and freaking manifested that thing. And I'm so glad you're hearing me, because I was just thinking of you at that trip and how I'm sure it was very magical. But it was like that possibility frequency is just magical. Magical. So that's what's trying to come forward for all of us. And really, if we really think about what that means is that we are trusting and believing in ourselves. That whatever is presenting for us, what thoughts, what feelings, what we have, we know is our truth, can come forward, and we can stand in that, which means we're standing in our sovereignty. We can stand and know that's our truth. Because I truly believe we're going to be taken care of. Yes, it was Thailand. Yes, Amy, I can't wait to hear all about it. So, and that was a beautiful story. Like, I met Amy at a workshop a couple months ago, and she's like, yeah, I don't know how this is going to happen, but I'm making this happen, and it's happening, and I'm going to Thailand, and I'm just gone. And it was just like, it was like Amy brought in a possibility frequency into the group that was dealing with some heavy stuff. And that like shifted her energy. And Amy helped shift the energy for everyone. She did not let any limitations get in her way of going, because she was called to go and she did it. That's the energy that's trying to come forward. That's believing and trusting in the universe and trusting in yourself that you can make these things happen. So anytime we're in second guessing, anytime we're in limitation, why am I in limitation right now? Why is this coming up? What do I have to learn from this? How did I source this? Because I created this, right? How did I source this? I called this forward for a reason. Woo. A lot of stuff, lots happening. It's going to be fascinating to see how all this comes forward for us this week with the solstice energy. And I know we have at least one that's from Australia here, so may not be in that same energy. But one that may not be in that energy, but it's still in the energy, because it's a collective resonance as well. So, and Destin's a powerhouse, showing up every time, even when she's in the hospital. I mean, you inspire me that you make possibility happen and not be in restriction around it. So thank you, Destin.
Oh, thank you for your help. Thank you for this knowledge, because this knowledge is going to help me to heal. You know, I'm just grateful. I'm grateful for you, Stacy.
Yeah, grateful
Thank
for you.
you.
Anyone else have anything else to share before we wrap up?
Just wanted to say thank you. That was very powerful. I mean, there was so much going on that I can't even.
Yeah, it's hard.
Go through it. The journey was like was going all over the place, and I had to tone. That's what the energy moves for me. Also, is like on a certain point, I just need to do language or tone or do something like that. Have sounds coming out, and it was very powerful. Also, the meeting of the beings that came forward. I felt like very emotional with that one. I felt like there was like like a reunion, like a coming together. And so I think I'm going to go deeper with that, with your questions of what are you here to show me? And because I think there is more beside the fact that we are integrating together. I think it's a being from way back.
Mm.
And in fact, in the beginning was actually, I felt like it was a male and then was a female. And then I was like, what is it? I mean, I could not figure it out, but then it was, I know it was a female.
Mm.
And I felt like it was
Oh
going
my gosh.
back and back and back. So anyway, thank you.
Yeah, but you're right. It was like all like the energies, there was so much clearing that a lot of it may not have felt like it made sense. And I kept on talking where I was trying to give quiet space, but they were like, no, just, you got to tell them about the insectoid stuff. You got to tell them about that. Like, there was just
Ah.
so much clearing. There
Yeah,
was so many
I have a
pathways.
question about that, the insectoid, because the
Yeah.
insectoid came up this morning too. I was
Mm.
doing a meditation this morning and they came up and it was like still ancestry stuff and the insectoid came up. But I'm not exactly sure what do they mean. I forgot.
Yeah. Well,
Yeah.
I think it depends on who they are and what you're working with. So what felt like came up in the sun when they came forward, it
Mhm.
was like, I saw like spider energy. I saw parasites within us. It felt more like the bugs that are within us that were getting cleared
Okay.
out. That's what it felt like today. It wasn't like an insectoid being that was showing up. It was
Okay.
more of like, they were very little. They weren't bipedal. They weren't looking like a being. They were
Mm.
looking like little bugs that were coming out of us.
Okay. Thank you.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
That's interesting. We've been doing so much work with parasitic energy, with
Mhm.
physical, non-physical, the whole gamut. It feels really, really strong. But also like this really a huge opportunity to purge all of this parasitic activity going on.
Yes,
keeps
on all
going.
levels, right? Not just the physical, like what are the parasites in us, but this parasitical, is that a word? Collective energy of like how they're trying to control us or how they're trying to lock us down or how we're being manipulated, all those kinds of things. If you're
Yeah.
right, like it
Oh,
feels
yeah.
like, yeah.
I've been really feeling the need to do a deep parasite cleanse, like a really intensive parasite cleanse. And ever since I've started having these intentions and these thoughts, I've also started noticing how strong of an influence these parasites have over my thinking, over my patterns, to the point of even sabotaging my plans to start a cleanse, etc. It's really, I've never noticed it to this level before, how much control they have over my thought patterns.
Mhm.
But at least I'm aware. So
Yes.
it's this strange just dichotomy of oh, I can see that these thoughts aren't mine, but I still have an overwhelming craving for whatever.
Mhm.
And it's interesting to have. I'm happy that I've cultivated the awareness
Yeah.
through what we do to be able to see it at these levels.
Are you catching yourself in those cravings? Like, is this craving coming? Is this a parasitic like craving, or is this mine? Does this my body want it, or is, you know what I mean? Like
Yeah,
going
and
deeper into it.
I can tell the certain things that are, my body cravings and parasitic cravings.
Wow.
Doesn't necessarily mean I deny them.
Oh yeah, I hear you on that one.
But I notice.
Yeah, thank you for bringing that forward, because that's actually something I haven't dug into too much, that I'm like, why am I always craving? And I can't necessarily pinpoint it. So that you remind me to go deeper into that part of it to see where it's really coming from. I like David Wolf, if you know David Avocado Wolf at all. I like his stuff. And I recently looked at his parasite cleanse stuff. And I didn't get it because I'll be traveling and I don't want the package to come while I'm traveling. But he does or did have a holiday special, so there's a discount if you're around and can collect a package. But I like his stuff because he really, really stays in integrity.
Okay.
Yeah. So I'm looking
Interesting.
at David's stuff.
I've got a friend, a number of friends in this area who have been treating cancer with certain animal parasite medicine. Very
Really?
effective. Mhm. Yeah, dewormers, animal dewormers that are, dare I say, curing some incurable cancers for people in this area. But they've been keeping it fairly secretive, just because of the degree of the degree to which the pharmaceutical industries do not want this
Yes,
kind of information to be spread around.
correct.
But so it's really interesting. So I'm actually going to start. I'll let you know how it goes. I'm going to start a round of these dewormers.
Yeah, please share that. Keep us posted on that because you're right. Every time there's a practitioner who has really good, successful luck on healing people, they get shut down. So this has
Mhm.
happened over and over again. So thank you for that. And check what Destin shared with her solution. So thank you for bringing that forward. Yeah, keep us posted on that. Amy, did you have
Yeah.
something to share too? Oh, okay. You went off mute, so I wanted to make sure that you were okay. Okay, cool. Good. All right. Well, thank you for joining. Thank you. Love you all. Have wonderful holidays if you celebrate them. And we'll be back next month. It will be the 4th. It'll go back to the 4th Sunday of the month. So, oh, and then tomorrow, tomorrow I offer a group, I offer a energy tracking clinic. So we get together as a group and we track energies. And so it's to help us to deepen our ability to track energy and to strengthen our inner voice, our intuition. So if you're interested in doing that, you can sign up through the Light Body Academy. There's a way to sign up through the Light Body Academy website. You can sign up and it's at 1 p.m. Mountain Time tomorrow for the group energy tracking, the energy tracking clinic. So thank you very much. Okay.
Thank you, Stacey.
And more to come in the new year. There's gonna be a lot more programming and everything as we probably more launching March because the energies are still kind of working out for January, February, but we're coming, more stuff to come in the new year. So love you all. And Amy, if you have a minute to stick
Thank you.
around, I'd love to just hear if you have a sec. So, all right. Thank you all.
Thank you.
You.
Thank you.
Bye.
You might stop the recording.
Oh, thank you. That would be good.